ALGS Rostermania continues to get weirder and weirder. Obviously, some of these changes we did predict, we did expect. Some of these, however, we were a little bit blindsided by, like organizations shutting down and then some of these teams splitting up as well. Some of these guys potentially going back to some old orgs. Let's dive in and talk about what's going on inside the world of Apex Legends esports. Firstly, wanted to make mention of the big one, the obvious one. I don't think many people were too surprised by this. Sikezz has now joined NRG. Of course, after leaving Envy, we knew that Sikezz was going to go to a big, organization. That was pretty probable. I don't think anybody saw him slipping out of the top teams or anything like that. Sikezz obviously still a talented player and, still pretty respected. I do think people had a little bit of a bone to pick. They felt like Yana was probably a better player, but you got to realize a lot of people got to, they're getting this confused that Sikezz and Yana are not the same players or style of players whatsoever. Yana very clearly has had this passion to want to go IGL for a while. Obviously, when you look back to old Liquid team, Pollos Hermanos, all of those old style where Yana was probably in his prime per se, maybe, or, just probably felt better at the game. Yana was in this IGL leadership role. That's kind of where he wanted to be. And he made that clear when he made his LFT post that he wanted to IGL. And that was very specific. Sikezz is not that style of player at all. He's this panic style, let's just I'll do what you tell me to and let me just go fry people and I'll just one clip and then the rest is yours. So Sikezz is a total different player than Yana. So I don't really think that the comparisons are fair because they're just not the same at all. And they shouldn't really be evaluated on the same level, in my opinion. I know Yana was trying to switch up roles, but it's just at the end of the day, that's not who he wants to be. And that's not who he gravitates naturally towards as well. But for what it's worth, Sikezz joins NRG. Should be no surprise there. I think a lot of people saw that coming. Now, for the opposite here, Envy has also had a little bit of a leak about Skittlez joining the team as well. So once again, no surprise, Skittlez kind of not signing with TSM was a big red flag to a lot of people. You see TSM sign two of the players. Skittlez been on that team. Why doesn't he sign? What's going on? Word on the street, behind closed doors, some people were saying, look, not every contract should be signed. Not every offer needs to be agreed to. Apparently, TSM was not necessarily offering this great deal. Skittlez kind of picked up on that and said, I don't want to sign that contract, and so I'm not going to leave the team and screw you guys over for the LAN. I'll play the LAN, and we'll just move on after that. And that seems to be what has happened, apparently. So Skittlez will now be joining Envy roster, it seems. This means he's going to be playing with Dropped and Zapdo, according to Apex Rostermania. And so obviously a pretty talented team here. Honestly, I kind of like this change maybe a little bit more than I like the NRG change, just because I don't know. I think this roster may mesh a little bit better. NRG's obviously got a good one, but I don't know. I feel a little bit better about this one. Also, Trev coming from Team Liquid. Speaking of Yana, kind of tying this story back in. He posted he was looking for a team and obviously showing that he wants to IGL. Trev, pretty talented. He's had some pretty good success in the last year or so. However, he's also made mention on stream, according to Apex Rostermania, that Yana may be going back to Team Liquid, and of course that would be a pretty OG moment, and I think a lot of people would be excited about. Honestly, I would just love to see, no offense to Liquid, but I would just love to see the old Team Liquid, like the LG Shivas, like the Pollos Hermanos. I would love to see that branding come back, the OG vibes come back, and and watch something like that. But I know it'll probably never happen, but it is what it is. Talented roster. I think wherever Yana lands, he's probably going to find some success here. But it is weird, though, because you'll see more in just a second when we talk about Trev Stacks and his roster. It kind of sucks to see that those long-time duos or whatever are not sticking together. And people were talking about, I wanted Yana and Trev together, but you got to remember, Trev is definitely IGL. Yana has very much so made it vocal and clear that he wants to be an IGL. I get that part of those two kind of coming together. It seems like it'd be good, but Yana is stepping out from the role he's been playing recently because he wants to make it known that he wants to go back to that old style role that Yana is used to playing. I think he's kind of one that pioneered this triple roller team back on the Pollos Hermanos stuff. And also, controller players can be good IGLs as well. He was definitely one of the more first pioneer respected controller IGL, I feel like. Of course, there were a couple others, but he had the CEO tip of the hat as well. I feel like that was a big one. Also wanted to make mention, though, Duplex here. TSM, obviously, no surprise here. We talked about Skittlez not being on this roster. He posted he was looking for one with Gent. A lot of names come up to mind. I don't know how anybody could be ignoring Fuhhnq right now after what he just did at the LAN. I don't think nobody is ignoring Fuhhnq. I'm talking about the fans, though. I think, roster-wise, organization-wise, Fuhhnq's going to a good home, I'm sure. But Duplex, Gent, should they be considering him? A lot of the fans, surely think so. But I think a lot of people are also, some are looking over him because he's not a big name. He's not someone that's been recycled. He's a new up-and-comer, and people are always skeptical of that. And I think that's a problem in the scene, and you'll see more about that later. But, Trev Stacks also comes out to say he's looking for a team in North American Pro League. And you would see some comments saying, man, it just sucks. I hate to see that they're splitting up. And this is kind of what I wanted to get to earlier. It just really sucks to see some rosters split up every time because there start to become lore that builds up when you talk about old-time duos, old-time trios, or people that just team together for a while, or people that just have good history with each other. When you go back to Trev Stacks' history, I mean, so many memories come up to mind. I remember reporting when they were like grinding through PSQs and CCs and barely not making it. And then they try again and they finally made it. And it was just such a good grind. So much lore built up between players. And then you watch them years later, they're established. They got to move on. Maybe one player gets left behind. They move on to other things. And, it just all changes from there. It is what it is. That's just the nature of it. But when you look back at some of these other rosters, though, you talk about the Hal Verhulst rep situation and some of these others that just split up and you just kind of thought they would be together for a lot longer. And now it's like as soon as the tournament's over, they're all recycling each other. And, some of these pros are just getting tossed around, like college party stuff. I mean, anyways, I just really would like to see some more consistency, but that just doesn't seem to be the direction that, Apex is going to go as far as the ALGS scene is concerned. Also wanted to make mention, though, before we get to the crazy ending story, ROC Deeds comes out here to say currently looking for a coach. So be on the lookout for a little bit of a coaching update here inside of the North American scene, and then also an organization update, 2 organization updates that I want to make mention of. One, Empire obviously losing their roster, very, very talented roster. These guys had a very good showing here at the LAN recently. And then also, it's no surprise, probably, better organization to be announced pretty soon here. And will Empire be sticking in the scene? Obviously something to consider and pay attention to in the future. And then you get into some crazy stuff. You probably saw the K-Swinney drama, the other drama, and the EXO stuff drama is what I wanted to make mention of, though. The EXO-specific drama that came out talking about this this shutting down, and EXO's not a thing anymore. It gets leaked out here by Apex Rostermania, and Exodus comments like, oh, my org shutting down, I didn't even hear that. So everybody thought it was fake, right? Like, there's no way the owner doesn't know about his org shutting down. When he comes out and says, okay, it's real. Like, I didn't know any of this was happening. I didn't even know, and it was happening until I saw the leak. Somehow my role in the Discord was removed, and therefore I didn't get to ping with information, nor was I approached with at any point about the problems at hand. So basically, this guy got his org hijacked, and he basically had it shut down, like, without him knowing, and it was all, like, just taken away from him. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But if you're wondering what's been happening with the EXO stuff, this is the update. The org owner himself doesn't even know how, why, or what in the world was going on. Now, also wanted to add to that EXO Clan came out to put on a big announcement or whatever, and basically said on behalf of the EXO team, managers and owners, the social media team is having to write an official statement. It is with huge regret that the EXO Clan will be closing down. We are unable to get into a lot of the details, but due to bad management and bad financial management, this has caused us to close down. We are sorry that all the hard work EXO Clan and Element 6 founders have done to build a strong esports community has been ruined. We were not told or given any notice for this closure, and so on behalf of the team, we apologize for the abrupt changes. We are eternally grateful for all the support from the fans to the players and the teams. We would not be here without your love for esports, and we thank you. So thank you to everyone who's been with us along this crazy journey. It has become such a great family and home for all of us, and we hope to see you in the future. Now, don't forget the context here. EXO did a merger with Element 6 a while back, and so you have Exodus here, obviously owner here, And then you had Element 6's guy, which was Jack McPolin, I think it was, or Jack is what they called him. And, you know, so there's been this like drama, like what in the world happened here? And he also comes out to say, I'm so disappointed in myself for making the choice I did in my replacement and also in my replacement himself. This isn't the end. Our passion for esports and community lives on, and we will not let that die. Also, Fuhhnq has now been removed from the Complexity Apex roster inside of the leaked Apex Rostermania tweet. So crazy stuff. There's so many swaps that I think will happen. You know, still some time to let a lot of this rest. You'll probably get some more updates literally by tomorrow, so make sure to stay tuned. You guys know how I feel about the situation. As you go back to the enemy release, I love Fuhhnq. I think Fuhhnq's a great player, talented player. It does make you wonder, okay, where does Fuhhnq go in all of this? Sweet's talking about, or he's, you know, made, you know, these cryptic tweets and messages about maybe coming back. Does Fuhhnq get back together with, I don't know. Anyways, I go back to the enemy stuff. I don't think enemy should have ever been released. I feel like Complexity was way better with enemy just in general. I mean, that's just not, enemy's not a guy you let go of, in my opinion. Just my thoughts. I hated to see that to begin with, but here's your update. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything going inside the world of Apex Legends esports news, then like and subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, we'll see you all later.